14-0 lead for North Carolina through the first 3 matches of this duel. Great to have you with us here on ACC Network Extra. And we talked about it a little bit at the open, Mike. This has been a really solid start to the year for North Carolina. Look at all of their ranked wrestlers. And man, I tell you what, Austin O'Connor there at 157 having a great year. But hard to look at the UNC lineup and not be impressed.
Yeah, I agree. You know, you see some guys like Sherman, Lau. Those guys have had some good wins. Wagner, guys like that. It's incredible. And as a program in the top 25, you rely on these guys to kind of help build momentum in the dual meet. And these are guys that you can depend on. And so a guy like Sherman is someone that you're looking to hopefully get bonus points in a match like this. And you want him to come out aggressive, put him on him right from the start to kind of help continue to build the lead and get some momentum going for the guys that are coming after him.
Yeah, Sherman, the graduate student, taking on Patrick Rowland of Duke, the redshirt junior, here at 149. And if you're Duke, probably just looking for some kind of momentum. Probably felt like you had one slip away there at 133 after the forfeit at 125. Logan Hagan had a big lead in that match. Give a lot of credit to North Carolina and Palmer for fighting back, but that's one that Duke probably needed to have some momentum, and now hoping that Rowland can get it going for the Blue Devils.
Yeah, absolutely. That definitely would have been a game changer. Momentum is a huge thing when it comes to dual meets. And yeah, it definitely swings things, and it gives the guys on the bench some energy. You know, not just that, but it also gives them confidence going to the dual meet. Okay, we're starting off strong, and they get excited to go out there. By the way, I just want to make a comment on that double leg that you saw by Sherman. Beautiful double leg. I've seen him hit that plenty of times over the past couple of years. Really, really explosive. Nice level change. The timing was great. Quick finish. Really, really nice takedown to start.
Yeah, Sherman had a great year last year for North Carolina. Finished 3rd at the ACC Championships. Qualified for the NCAAs. Earned a couple of wins there as well. Named All-ACC in 2021, ACC champion in 2020. So Sherman comes with a great pedigree into tonight's matchup.
He does. He does. Surprised to see him at 25, ranked at number 25. I've seen him ranked as high as 10 in the previous years, and he's got some good wins in his career as well. So it's a surprise to me that he's ranked that low. I mean, it's probably due to some competition and some losses at the beginning of the year, but like we were talking about earlier, beginning of the year, it doesn't matter.
Well, we were talking to Coleman Scott about that earlier this week, about Sherman in particular. Said, he kind of had a tough start to the year. The North Carolina match counted him a little bit, but he showed some resiliency against Brown last weekend. And look, he's a guy that knows what it takes, right? He's won the ACC, won a couple matches at the NCAAs last year, knows what it takes and where his wrestling needs to be to get to that point and exceed where he was last season.
Right, and at this point, he's experienced. He knows what to expect during the season. He knows what the NCAA tournament's going to be like. And, you know, every year you just learn a little bit more about what you need to be doing differently to end up on that podium by the end of the year. So it'll be exciting to see how the rest of this match goes and how his postseason finishes out.
Sherman, a 2-point lead, but does have over a minute and a half now of riding time, so that would add another point for North Carolina as we count down the final half minute of this opening period.
Really, really good forward pressure here. You see that back leg, knees not down, he's driving. It's hard to kind of tell, but he's driving with that left leg to create a lot of pressure forward and get a lot of weight on the hands, head, and chest of Rowland. And what that does is it makes it really, really hard to pressure back and start to build your base and get up to your feet. That makes a big difference on top, and it gets the guy exhausted, and it's a lot less exhausting for the top guy. It's really efficient, it's very technical, and you feel like you weigh an extra 30 more pounds.
And to be able to ride it out in the final 40 seconds of the opening period, you talk about the exhaustion now, that's just going to play into Sherman's favor over the next 2 periods, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Starting from neutral here.
Only 2-0, 2 minutes and 21 seconds of riding time right off the whistle. Beautiful shot there by Sherman.
Sherman,
good trip.
A big 2-pointer there for the Tar Heels.
What Duke has to do here is you got to isolate a wrist. So see how he's gotten to his feet. Good job peeling the wrist, getting your hips out and squaring and turning and facing.
Gets rolling.
Little fancy feet here by Sherman.
Gets rolling on the board.
Look like Muhammad Ali out there.
Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, right? Where's Rowland got to go now to try to score some points on Sherman?
So if I were him, me personally, I would change my level a little bit. I'd get a little bit lower to the mat just to kind of hold position a little bit better since Sherman's already scored 2 takedowns. Sherman does a really good job changing levels. He's got some good explosive ability, so he can get to a leg really quickly from space without necessarily having to get very physical in the hand fight. And you see how there, he's got to keep control of that. Very, very good job punching that underhook. We might see a fall here.
Very close there. Final 50 seconds of this second period. Sherman looking to end it.
He's got to settle his hips, get chest to chest. Just take his time, stay relaxed. Don't rush it.
Nearly 3 minutes of riding time. Rowland doing all he can here.
Doing a really good job staying off that right shoulder blade, keeping his elbow on the mat, doing everything he possibly can to avoid the fall. What I was saying earlier, though, if I'm Rowland, I want to stay a little bit lower in my stance just so Sherman can't change levels and get underneath my head position. Because once someone changes levels and beats your head position, there's space, there's opportunity to get in on a leg.
Final 3 seconds here. 1 second, and how about Rowland able to fight through the fall, but Sherman, an aggressive second period, has a 10-1 lead, and a big part of it was this takedown here.
Beautiful snap down to the short offensive position, right into the underhook, wasted no time to punch it over straight to his back. Beautiful transition there from the snap. Yeah, that's just good chain wrestling right there. And kudos to Rowland there, not allowing the fall there. That's what you want to see from your athletes. You know, if you're not winning the match, I want to see fight. I don't want to see you give up. I don't want to see you mentally break. And I don't want to see you give up anything for free. If I'm giving up points, I'm not giving up anything for free. And you saw some fight there. So kudos to Rowland for fighting off his back and staying in the fight. So now he's got another opportunity to redeem himself.
And that's what Glenn Lanham talked to us about this week, especially with some of the younger guys. And I know that Rowland's a little bit older, but he talked about winning every position, right? It's all about, as you said earlier, building toward March. So you just have to win. You know, if you go from neutral, go to getting a takedown, whatever it is, just win that position. So don't try to climb Mount Everest in one day or 1 week. It's building blocks.
100%. And the way that I like to think about wrestling matches, I was having this conversation with somebody the other day. Think of a wrestling match as 7 minutes of multiple wrestling positions. Whoever ends up winning the most wrestling positions is the one who's going to end up winning the match. And you break it down, whether it's in the neutral position, whether it's in the bottom position, whether it's on top. These are all individual wrestling positions. And you want to try your best to win the exchange. And whoever wins the most exchanges is most likely going to be the one who's putting the most points up on the board. And if you can break it down and simplify it, just focus on winning one exchange at a time. You don't have to worry about the whole 7 minutes and make it this overwhelming wall that you feel like you have to overcome. Just win one exchange at a time, stay focused, stay in the moment, and just wrestle every position to the best of your ability.
How hard is that, though, to do as a younger wrestler versus these two who are experienced in the sport?
It's a little tougher because you got the psychology of the sport that most people don't think about. So let's say I'm an underclassman and I'm really, really eager to get the starting spot. Well, maybe there's an upperclassman who's also been having that spot. We could be going back and forth. If I go out into this match and I lose, there's an opportunity I may not get another chance to go out and compete the following match. And so I might put pressure on myself to perform. I might start thinking way too much about the result instead of just wrestling my match. And that's where things start to get guys out of their game, because they start thinking too much, they start worrying too much about the result, and they don't just wrestle. You just got to go out there and wrestle. Keep it simple.
And another win for Sherman. That's his 80th career victory. And with the riding time of 2 minutes and 53 seconds, Sherman puts another major point up there for North Carolina. More